So the discovery is hugely important. Now, how fast can you go from a discovery to a prospect interview?
It can be very fast.
How long can it take?
Like 30 seconds.
It can take 30 seconds to get from I'm just looking to, yeah, maybe we should,
Right.
maybe a couple minutes max, or it could take how long?
Weeks.
Weeks. If you're not defined in your process, expect it to take forever. The client gets frustrated with that. They want it to be, show me what you're doing. We call that leadership. We all want to be led by somebody through the sales process that knows what they're doing. So when the client says, no, I think we'll do it this way, and you know that won't work, do not agree with them. You know, and you can definitely turn that back to them a little bit differently by saying, I can totally appreciate what you're saying. However, if we do what you're suggesting, you will not like me when we're done. And they'll look, huh? What do you mean? Well, you know, you're talking about doing this and, you know, maybe selling your house first, or pardon me, keeping your house and then buying the perfect home. And in this particular marketplace, this is what I'm concerned will happen, is you will keep your home and you will find the perfect home. You will buy it and have bridge financing. And everything will be fine until 2 weeks before possession date and you don't have an offer on your home. Then you'll be suddenly keenly aware that you have $4,000 a month that'll be going out into mortgage payments.
Right.
And all of a sudden, it's hard to sleep at night. And then there's usually something that'll happen at that point. So you'll get the husband going, yeah, that's no big deal. I calculate that. The wife's going, she's barely able to speak, right? Because one of them will have a moment where their entire life will go upside down, and you can see it on their face.
And everything else goes wrong in their life at that time.
And you can say to them, you know what I'm getting now is we've got a conflict. Okay, so one of you says no problem, the other one's saying big problem. So with respect to your relationship, this would be wise to work this out in advance in this strategy. And I just so you know, I'm not in judgment. This is where I get in, and I tell them my role. My role is not to be in the midst of all this for you and be judging what's going on. My role is to help you through get what you want, but I'm also supposed to bring a very clear picture. This is part of the picture. If you guys come back and say you definitely want to barrel on forward, I'm all for that, and as long as you're aware of what the consequences are. And I will do everything I can to, you know, show you exactly the truth of what can take place here. But remember, I am just one person representing the entire environment of real estate, and it can change that fast. So in today's marketplace, and if they say, well, what do you expect to happen? Well, what I expect to happen doesn't mean anything when it's you sitting there holding the check. So you have to be comfortable with what you're thinking, right? Honestly, that's the end of the deal. And so if you're good with the risk, life is good. Now if they say, yeah, I'm good with it, and your gut's telling you no, they're not good with it, you go, great, let me just test it this way, and then we're done talking about it, okay? And they go, yes. So notice I ask for permission, and I go, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I want you to imagine that it's 2 weeks after you've bought your new home. It's exciting because you're now starting to think about the furniture and where it's going, and it's all wonderful, and you're now starting to get your other house, current home listed, and you're having people go through and fix up things in the minor details, getting ready for that big presentation. 3 weeks from now, we've already had our first open house, and you've had 1 or 2 people go through the home, and it's just not moving as fast as you think it should move, and it should have been done by now, right? Because it's been on the market for a week or 10 days. I'm telling you, it's okay. It takes a little while for these things to happen, right? Now, we're down the line, and it's about a month before you're taking possession, and you now suddenly realize that you're at the excuse me, you're at the place where the buyers that are coming today are probably going to want to take possession a month after or 60 days after you're already moved.
Right.
And that presents a problem because now you got 2 months of bridge financing, and the first thing you say to yourself is an extra 2,000 times 2 is $4,000. Oh my goodness, that's a holiday that we wanted to take this year. And your brain kind of went, and you start to scream inside. And of course, you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're not, you got stress in your back or wherever you hold it, and you start to bark at each other a little bit, and it's getting less attractive. Now, let me go a little bit farther now. I want you to imagine what it's like 60 days down the line and somebody offers you something and you want to throw up because it's not what you expected, right? Because stuff like this can happen. And then I look at them, and if you're painting the picture correctly, they're going to go, oh, I never thought about that. And that's exactly what you want them to feel. If they say, hey, yeah, that's just the way the cookie crumbs and we're okay with that, and both of them say it, and sometimes they mean it because they've been through stuff like this before and they're seasoned, so they know it. And they know they can handle it, carry on, right? Let's go buy you a home. Let's get you that perfect home and buy it now, right? And on the other side of that, if you've got somebody that's crashing at that point in time, it's good to point that out and say, just wanted you to experience what could happen. Not that it will happen, and I'll do everything in my power to make sure that doesn't happen. However, we're at the mercy of what a buyer wants to buy in your area. And you could have 10 buyers come into the market tomorrow and your price could go up. You could have everybody to go and take a holiday and you would have, you know, a huge competition for one buyer. Price can go down. It can happen that fast, right, in an area. And that's what we want to do. So you have to be able to paint the picture to get the people to work with you at the open house to get the appointment. If you can't get appointments, pretty hard to get a buyer.